Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself saying yes to something, even when every bone in your body screamed no? It's easy to fall into the trap of people pleasing. We tell ourselves that we're helping others, that we're being supportive, that we're just being nice. But if you look deeper, you might find something else. What if instead of helping others, you're hiding from yourself? What if saying yes all the time is really a way to avoid conflict, fear, or discomfort? People pleasing isn't about others. It's about avoiding your own fears. It's about not wanting to rock the boat, to stand out, to risk being disliked. But at what cost? You're hiding the real you. And in doing so, you're losing sight of what you truly need. Here's the truth. Being nice all the time can be a mask. It's an easy way to shield yourself from fear, rejection, and uncertainty. Deep down, niceness often covers up insecurity. It's a way to avoid the hard truths about yourself. You don't want to be rejected, so you pretend to be someone you're not. You smile, agree, and go along with whatever others want. But this facade isn't real. It's a mask. You're not showing the world your true self. You're showing the world the version you think they want to see, all while hiding behind a shield of niceness. But here's the thing, the longer you wear that mask, the more you lose touch with who you really are. Let's be real. How many times have you gone out of your way to do something for someone else, only to feel taken for granted? How many times have you put others first, only to be overlooked, ignored, or even exploited? When you're always nice, people stop appreciating you. They expect it, they take advantage of it. And even worse, you start to fade into the background. The truth is, people will never truly see you when you're constantly putting yourself last. They see your kindness, yes, but they don't see the depth of your character. They don't see your potential. And here's the hardest truth of all. If you don't step into the spotlight and claim your value, you will remain invisible. Do you often say yes when you really want to say no? If you're nodding your head, you're not alone. The fear of rejection or conflict can drive us to agree to things we don't actually want. But here's a question. Are you saying yes out of choice? Or are you saying yes because you're afraid of what might happen if you don't? Fear is a powerful motivator, but it's also one that can hold you back. It drains your energy, eats away at your time, and ultimately steals your peace of mind. Ask yourself, are you helping others, or are you just avoiding discomfort? If your yes comes from fear, it's time to rethink your approach. When was the last time you did something for someone, only to feel completely drained afterward? When was the last time you agreed to something and later regretted it? These are subtle signs that your kindness might be hurting you. If you're constantly giving without getting anything in return, you're losing yourself in the process. Over time, this self-sacrifice can erode your self-respect and deplete your energy. What was once a gesture of kindness becomes an obligation, and suddenly, kindness is no longer a gift, it's a burden. It's time to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this act of kindness really serving you, or is it slowly taking pieces of you away? The first step in breaking the too nice habit is self-reflection. Take a moment to pause and ask yourself, am I being true to myself? Look at the situations where you've said yes out of fear, and ask why. What were you afraid of? Was it rejection, discomfort, disapproval? Recognizing the underlying fears that drive your people-pleasing behaviors is the key to reclaiming your authenticity. This is where you start taking control. You begin to understand your emotional needs, set clear boundaries, and honor your truth. Being true to yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you understand who you are and what you need, you can give in a way that's healthy for both you and the people around you. Let's talk about rejection for a moment. How much of your life have you spent trying to avoid it? How many times have you changed your opinions, your actions, or even your personality to fit in, just to avoid rejection? If you're constantly living for others' approval, you're always going to be in the shadows. The fear of rejection holds so many people back. It drives you to conform, to follow the crowd, to shrink down so no one notices your differences. But here's a hard truth. Living for approval keeps you stuck. It keeps you invisible. You cannot grow or thrive when you're constantly seeking validation from others. Realize this, if you keep seeking approval, you'll never find the freedom to be your true self. Conflict is uncomfortable. I get it. We all want peace and harmony. But avoiding conflict isn't the answer. It's a roadblock. Running from conflict means running from growth. Conflict, when handled well, can lead to stronger relationships, clearer communication, and deeper understanding. But when you avoid it, you're holding yourself back. You're choosing the easy path now, but you're paying the price later. You're not growing. You're not challenging yourself. You're staying stagnant. And in doing so, you're not just avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding the opportunity for respect and personal development. The truth is, facing conflict head-on is how you build strength, clarity, and confidence. Here's the most empowering part. Rejection isn't the end of the road. It's a redirection. Every no you face brings you one step closer to the right. Yes, rejection doesn't define you, it refines you. It's a tool for growth. So what are you going to do when you're rejected? Are you going to let it tear you down, or are you going to use it as fuel to push forward? The more you reframe rejection as an opportunity, the more resilient and powerful you become. Remember, rejection is simply the universe pointing you towards something better, something more aligned with who you are. Embrace it, learn from it, let it guide you to the next step. Are you constantly the one who says yes to everyone, even when it drains you? Do you let others take credit for your hard work, or stay silent to avoid conflict, even when it hurts your own needs? You're not alone. Many people find themselves stuck in the pattern of being too nice, hoping to make others happy at the expense of their own peace. But here's the truth, being overly nice isn't a strength, it's a trap. It might seem harmless at first, but it erodes your energy, your sense of self, and your visibility. If you've been wondering why you feel overlooked or stuck, it's time to face it. Niceness has a hidden cost. Today we're going to break down how this habit is holding you back, and more importantly, how you can take back control. This isn't just about making you feel good for a moment, it's about transforming the way you show up in the world. Stick with me, because you're about to discover how to step into your full power, no longer hidden in the background, but standing tall and unapologetic. Let me ask you something, are you truly helping others, or are you hiding from your own needs, desires, and voice? Constantly putting others' needs first might feel like the right thing to do, but it's often a cover-up for deeper fears. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, or a deep-seated desire to be liked or accepted. The problem is, you're so focused on making everyone else happy that you lose sight of your own happiness. It's a dangerous cycle that doesn't lead to fulfillment. You might think you're doing something good, but you're really avoiding the most important person in the room, yourself. The more you pour from an empty cup, the more invisible you become. You get caught in this pattern of self-sacrifice, forgetting that your needs are just as important as anyone else's. If you're the person who always says yes to everything, no matter how drained or overburdened you feel, then listen up. Saying yes when it's not in alignment with your values, or when it's just to avoid disappointing others, is exhausting. It's like trying to run on an empty tank of gas. Sure, you might move for a little while, but soon enough you'll come to a stop. Your energy will fade, your enthusiasm will wither, and your sense of self will shrink. You end up feeling invisible, like you're just going through the motions, hoping that someone will see how much you're doing. But the truth is, people don't notice the sacrifice. They notice the person who stands strong, speaks up, and prioritizes their own needs. You're not a doormat. Don't let yourself become one. You may think that putting others first is the right thing to do, but here's the hard truth. You're sacrificing yourself in the process. This self-sacrifice steals your personal growth, your career opportunities, and the joy you deserve. Over time, the cost builds up. You miss out on the growth you could have had because you were too busy making everyone else comfortable. You suppress your own ambitions, your own ideas, your own voice, and in the process you become invisible. This isn't just a personal issue, it affects your career too. You keep taking a back seat, giving everyone else the spotlight, but when the opportunity for recognition comes, it's never your name that's called. You've erased yourself from the picture. The question is, how much longer will you let this happen? Let's get something straight. Kindness is powerful, but being nice isn't the same thing. True kindness comes from a place of authenticity. It comes from genuinely caring about others without losing sight of your own needs. It doesn't come from fear or insecurity. People-pleasing, on the other hand, comes from a desire for approval, a deep fear of rejection. When you're kind, it's because you choose to be. But when you're people-pleasing, it's because you feel like you have no other option. You're trying to win people over, trying to be liked, all while losing touch with the very thing that makes you unique, your authentic self. Real kindness doesn't drain you, it lifts you, and it lifts others too. People-pleasing is a defense mechanism. It's an attempt to avoid rejection, discomfort, or conflict. At its core, people-pleasing is rooted in fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of being left out, fear of disappointing someone. But let me tell you something, when you live in fear of rejection, you give away your power. You stop standing up for yourself, and you start morphing into what others want you to be. You're no longer being true to yourself, you're living for other people's approval. And the problem with that is simple, no one will ever truly respect or value you for who you are if you're constantly trying to be who they want you to be. It's a recipe for exhaustion and unfulfilled potential. It's time to ask yourself, what are you losing in the process of trying to be nice to everyone? Are you losing your authenticity, your happiness, your sense of self? Because if you keep saying yes when you should be saying no, if you keep putting yourself last just to keep the peace, you're going to find that you've vanished from your own life. The cost of being nice is high. It erodes your self-worth, steals your confidence, and makes you feel invisible. And you deserve more than that. Don't keep paying that price. When you're constantly putting others first, your own contributions get overshadowed. You become a shadow in the spotlight, working hard but never stepping into the light yourself. It's like being part of the background music there, but unnoticed. You're doing all the work, yet others take the credit. You might feel like your efforts aren't appreciated, but here's the truth. People notice strength. People notice people who assert themselves, who make their voices heard, who stand tall. The longer you stay in the background, the less likely anyone will see what you bring to the table. Don't let yourself fade into the shadows. Your work deserves to be seen. You want opportunities, don't you? But here's the catch. If you're always focused on supporting others and never promoting yourself, the opportunities pass you by. They go to the people who aren't afraid to speak up, to ask for what they deserve, to claim their space. When you're too busy being nice, you miss the chance to take center stage. You miss the chance to show the world what you can do. And if you keep doing that, you'll be left wondering why everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in the same spot. Niceness doesn't create real connections. It creates an imbalance in relationships. Whether with family, friends, or coworkers, if you're constantly giving without ever setting boundaries, you're not building real mutual relationships. You're building a one-sided dynamic where you're always the giver but never the receiver. True relationships are based on respect, mutual support, and understanding. If you're always playing the role of the nice one, you're not allowing others to show up for you. And that's not how healthy, fulfilling relationships work. It's time to be real, it's time to be honest, and it's time to demand the respect you deserve. Have you ever felt like you're constantly giving but never truly receiving in return? Do you bend over backward to please others only to find yourself drained, unnoticed, and unappreciated? If you've been trapped in the cycle of always trying to be the nice one, this is your wake-up call. Being too nice isn't a badge of honor, it's a setup for resentment, self-doubt, and missed opportunities. Today we're going to break down why you're trapped in this cycle and how to break free. You deserve to stand tall, to speak your truth, and to be seen for the unique, powerful person you are. This is more than just motivation. It's a blueprint for taking back your life, reclaiming your self-respect, and finally putting yourself first. Stick with me, because what you're about to hear could change the way you live forever. Let's talk about something that holds most of us back from speaking up. Fear. The fear of rejection. The fear of conflict. It's a paralyzing fear that convinces us that staying quiet, staying small will keep us safe. But let me tell you something. This is not safety. It's a cage. Every time you suppress your feelings or avoid a difficult conversation, you're sacrificing your peace, your happiness, and your authenticity. You think avoiding conflict will make life easier, but in reality, you're just building walls around yourself. You bottle up your emotions, hoping they won't explode, but they do. Over time, that unspoken resentment builds up and self-doubt creeps in. You start questioning your own worth. Can you feel it? That heavy weight of being too nice, of always saying yes when you really want to say no. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And if you keep letting fear of rejection or conflict dictate your actions, you'll find yourself in a never-ending cycle of self-neglect. Is staying silent worth the cost of your self-respect? Is the fear of standing up for yourself really worth the resentment that will only build over time? Now, let's dig deeper. Why do we feel the need to constantly please others? Why do we tie our worth to how much we can give, how much we can sacrifice? The truth is, it often stems from low self-worth. When you don't believe in your own value, you look outside yourself for affirmation. You wait for others to tell you that you matter, and that's where the trap begins. The more you try to make others happy, the less you make yourself happy. You drain yourself because you're giving everything to people who might not even recognize it. The more you try to win people's approval, the more you lose sight of your own needs and desires, and in the end, you're left empty, hoping someone will fill that void. Here's the tough question. How much of your kindness is truly for others, and how much of it is driven by your need for validation? How many times have you sacrificed your own peace just to hear someone say, "Thank you"? This is a wake-up call. You need to confront your need for approval. You need to start looking inward for the validation you've been seeking from others. You're enough as you are. Stop looking outside yourself for a sense of worth, and start recognizing your own value. Now, let's get real. The nice guy girl trap. It's that mentality where you believe that if you just do enough, give enough, sacrifice enough, people will like you. But here's the catch. Being liked is not the same as being respected. You might think that constantly putting others' needs ahead of your own will earn you admiration, but in reality, it leads to burnout and resentment. Think about it. Have you ever done something for someone expecting recognition, only to be ignored? Or worse, have you ever been taken advantage of because you were too nice to set boundaries? This is the trap. You tell yourself, if I just keep being nice, people will notice. They'll see how much I do for them, and they'll appreciate me. But in the end, the only thing that's noticed is that you've exhausted yourself for people who never asked you to sacrifice in the first place. Let me ask you, are you truly happy being the nice one, or are you simply seeking approval at the expense of your peace? The truth is, trying to be liked by everyone comes at a high price. You end up neglecting your own needs, drowning in unspoken resentment, and feeling invisible. So ask yourself, what is the real cost of trying to be liked by everyone? It's your happiness, it's your peace, it's your self-respect. You deserve more than that. It's time to let go of the need for external approval and start focusing on your own fulfillment. You are not here to be everyone's doormat. You are here to be seen, heard, and valued for who you truly are, not for who you pretend to be to please others. This is your moment to break free from the nice guy girl trap and step into a life of authenticity, peace, and real fulfillment. Do you feel like you're always giving but never truly receiving? Are you constantly the nice one, but at what cost? If you've been trapped in the pattern of people-pleasing, this message is for you. Being too nice may seem like a virtue, but it's actually a silent killer of your well-being, your opportunities, and your true self. It's exhausting to constantly pour from an empty cup, to let others dictate your life, and to silently fade into the background. Today, we're uncovering the hidden costs of being too nice and why it's time to break free. It's time to stop sacrificing your peace for others' comfort and start living for you. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn will help you reclaim your energy, your identity, and your future. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How many times have you pushed aside your own needs just to make sure someone else is happy? The constant effort of pleasing others is like pouring water from an empty cup. It's exhausting. You give and give, but with each act of people-pleasing, you're draining yourself. At first, it might feel good to help, to be there for others. But over time, it takes its toll. It's like you're running on empty, hoping someone will notice the sacrifices you're making, but in reality, you're left exhausted and unappreciated. Resentment builds up. Frustration takes root. You start feeling like you're invisible. You're always there for others, but where is the support for you? Let me tell you this. You can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot continue to give when you have nothing left to give. And if you don't set emotional boundaries, if you don't take the time to recharge, you will burn out. Are you living for others, or are you living for yourself? Your energy, your peace, those are priceless. Stop letting others drain you. Start filling your cup first so you can give from a place of strength, not exhaustion. You know, there's something even more dangerous than emotional exhaustion. The slow, creeping loss of yourself. When you spend all your time trying to please others, you stop asking yourself what you want. You lose track of your own goals, your passions, your needs. You become so wrapped up in fulfilling others' expectations that you forget about your own dreams. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions, playing a role but not really living? Think about it. When was the last time you did something just for you? Not for anyone else, but for your own happiness, your own growth. It's easy to get lost in the whirlwind of pleasing others, but the cost is steep. You begin to forget who you are. Your true desires and goals get buried beneath the weight of everyone else's needs. And when it comes time to make decisions or assert boundaries, you find yourself paralyzed. You don't know what you want anymore because you've been too busy being what everyone else wants. It's time to wake up. Reconnect with the person you truly are. Your passions, your goals, your voice. Start listening to your own heart again. Ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want? It's not selfish, it's necessary. If you don't take the time to rediscover who you are, you risk losing yourself forever. Now let's talk about something that hits home for many of us: missed opportunities. You may not realize it, but when you're always the nice one, always standing in the background, you become invisible. You're there, but no one really sees you. You don't speak up. You don't take risks. You don't go after what you want because you're too afraid of stepping on someone's toes or upsetting the balance. So you stand on the sidelines, watching others take the stage. You let your fear of being too forward or selfish hold you back, but in the process, you miss out on the very opportunities that could change your life. How many doors have you left closed because you've been too afraid to knock on them? How many chances have passed you by because you were too busy trying to please others, too worried about what they might think? Let me tell you this, life doesn't wait for you to be perfectly nice. Opportunities don't knock softly, they barge in, and you have to be ready to open the door. Don't let fear of rejection or fear of upsetting someone keep you from stepping into your own greatness. It's time to stop standing on the sidelines. Start stepping forward. Start taking the chances you deserve. The world needs your voice, your talents, and your contributions. If you want to take control of your future, it's time to take ownership of those opportunities. Stop fading into the background. Step into the light. You deserve to be seen, heard, and valued. Are you exhausted from trying to please everyone around you? Do you constantly put others' needs ahead of your own, only to feel drained and overlooked in the end? It's time for a change. Being nice shouldn't mean losing yourself. Being self-respecting and assertive is not only possible, but it's also essential for your growth and happiness. Today, we're going to dive deep into how you can break free from the chains of people-pleasing, reclaim your power, and finally learn to stand up for yourself. This isn't about turning your back on kindness. It's about learning to respect yourself enough to set boundaries and embrace the life you deserve. Get ready to transform your mindset, your relationships, and ultimately your future. It's time to take back control, say no when needed, and start living with confidence. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn will change the way you live your life. Let me ask you, When was the last time you stopped seeking approval from others? We've all been there, running around trying to make everyone else happy while slowly losing a piece of ourselves in the process. But here's the truth. Kindness isn't about being a doormat. True kindness comes from self-respect. When you start respecting yourself, you realize that being nice doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your own happiness or well-being. It's time to stop letting others dictate your worth. Your value isn't determined by how much you give, how much you do, or how many people you make happy. It's determined by who you are deep down. When you shift from people-pleasing to people-respecting, something powerful happens. You begin to create relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, not in what you can do for someone. People begin to value you for who you are, not for how much you're willing to bend over backward to make them happy. It's time to stop living for the approval of others and start living for your own respect. Setting boundaries isn't just a good idea, it's essential for your mental and emotional health. When you don't set clear boundaries, you're opening yourself up to emotional exhaustion and stress. Think of boundaries like walls that protect your peace. They aren't there to shut people out, they're there to protect what's most important. When you set boundaries, you give yourself permission to put your needs first without guilt. You protect your time, your energy, and your mental well-being. What would your life look like if you started saying no more often? Would you feel less stressed, more focused, more in control? The reality is every no you say is a yes to something more aligned with your goals and your happiness. Setting boundaries isn't about being selfish. It's about making sure that you're not sacrificing yourself for the sake of everyone else. Your peace is precious. Guard it. Remember, boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They are shields that allow you to grow, thrive, and stay true to yourself. Without them, you risk losing your sense of self. With them, you protect the person you're meant to become. Building confidence doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, but it's a process that's worth every bit of effort. True confidence comes from within, and it starts with how you see yourself. Too often, we look for validation from others. We seek approval, hoping that someone will tell us that we're enough. But let me tell you something, your worth isn't dependent on how others treat you. It's determined by how you treat yourself. Start by using affirmations. Remind yourself every day that you are worthy, that you are enough, just as you are. Set small goals for yourself, and celebrate each victory. Confidence is built through action, through showing up for yourself and honoring your progress. The more you show up for you, the stronger your confidence becomes. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up and doing the work, day after day. When you start valuing yourself and your needs, the confidence will follow. Stop waiting for someone else's approval. Validate yourself, and watch how your life begins to shift. Saying no isn't just a skill, it's a necessity. It's one of the most powerful tools you can use to protect your peace, your time, and your energy. I know it's hard to say no, especially when you've spent so much of your life trying to make everyone happy. But hear me when I say this, saying no is not selfish, it's self-preservation. Every time you say no, you're making space for something that truly matters to you. You're giving yourself permission to prioritize your needs. And here's something important. Saying no doesn't mean you're rejecting the person. It means you're respecting yourself enough to say, this doesn't serve me right now. And guess what? People will respect you more for it. The more you honor your own needs, the more others will understand that you respect yourself, and they'll begin to respect you too. Real life examples are everywhere. Think of someone you admire, maybe a successful entrepreneur or leader. Chances are they got where they are because they knew when to say no. They didn't say yes to every opportunity, every person, every demand. They said no to distractions, to things that didn't align with their values. Every no they said was a yes to something more important. It's time to take control of your life. Stop saying yes to everything and start saying no to what doesn't matter. Do you feel like you're constantly bending yourself out of shape to fit into other people's expectations? Always saying yes when you really want to say no, or dimming your light so others don't feel threatened? It's time to stop pretending. True success, real happiness, and deep respect come from one place: authenticity. It's not about being mean or selfish. It's about standing firm in who you truly are and owning your worth. When you embrace your true self, you stop seeking validation and start attracting the respect and opportunities you deserve. In this section, we're going to explore the benefits of living authentically. This isn't just a feel-good idea. It's a practical shift that will revolutionize your relationships, career, and personal life. Ready to stop being too nice and start being yourself? The transformation starts now. When you stop pretending to be someone you're not, something powerful happens. People start respecting you for who you truly are. No more pretending to be the person others want you to be. No more changing yourself to fit in. When you embrace your authenticity, you attract respect. Not because you've done something for others, but because you've shown up as yourself. Wouldn't you rather be respected for who you truly are, not for who you think people want you to be? It's time to stop living in the shadows of other people's expectations. When you embrace your true self, you build relationships that are grounded in honesty and real connection. People can feel when you're being genuine. They can see through the mask, and when they see the real you, they'll connect with you in a way that's deeper and more meaningful. When you break free from the chains of people-pleasing, you take control of your own life. No longer do you need to wait for permission from others to pursue your dreams, to live authentically. You are the leader of your own journey. You have the power to lead your own life. Stop waiting for others to give you permission. Empower yourself to make the decisions that align with your values and goals. Think of people you admire who have embraced their true selves. They didn't wait for the world's approval. They took charge of their own path, and you can do the same. When you're authentic, you naturally attract the right people into your life. Those who appreciate and support you for who you really are. It's not about being liked by everyone. It's about building a network of people who love you for you. What kind of people do you want in your circle? People who love the real you, or people who only love your kindness? Authenticity attracts loyalty, respect, and deeper relationships. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you for who you are, not for what you do for them. Authenticity is your superpower. Embrace it and watch how your life changes. Are you tired of shrinking back every time you face rejection or a difficult conversation? It's time to stop letting fear control your life. Fear of rejection and conflict may seem like natural feelings, but when they keep you from pursuing your goals or standing up for yourself, it's time for a change. Imagine what your life could look like if you didn't let fear of discomfort hold you back. Today we're diving into how you can reframe rejection, embrace conflict, and build resilience. This isn't about avoiding difficult situations, it's about using them to grow stronger, build better relationships, and become the confident, empowered version of yourself you've always wanted to be. Stick with me, because you're about to discover how to stop fearing rejection and conflict and start using them to propel yourself forward. We've all faced rejection at some point, whether it's a job opportunity that didn't work out, a relationship that didn't take off, or an idea that wasn't accepted. It hurts. But what if I told you that rejection is not a reflection of your worth? What if rejection is actually a sign that something better is coming? Instead of seeing rejection as a dead end, reframe it as a redirection. Every no is a step closer to the right yes. Think about it, some of the most successful people in the world faced rejection before they found their path. Walt Disney was turned down for funding more than 300 times before he found someone who believed in his vision. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for TV. J.K. Rowling faced rejection from countless publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Stop fearing rejection. Embrace it as part of your journey toward success. Rejection is not personal, it's simply feedback. It's a sign that you're on the right path, that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that you're moving toward the next step in your journey. So the next time you face rejection, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What's the next opportunity waiting for me? Conflict. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. But here's the truth. Healthy conflict is a necessary part of growth. It's what helps you establish boundaries, communicate your needs, and build stronger relationships. The fear of conflict often holds us back from speaking our truth, but avoiding conflict doesn't make it go away. In fact, it just builds up tension and misunderstanding. What's more important, avoiding discomfort or gaining respect and clarity? When you embrace conflict, you create space for real conversations and meaningful resolutions. Conflict, when handled with respect and intention, helps you grow as an individual and strengthens the relationships around you. Think about it, every strong relationship, whether in business or personal life, has faced some level of conflict. But it's how you handle that conflict that determines the outcome. Imagine how much stronger your relationships could be if you weren't afraid of difficult conversations. Conflict is not about winning or losing, it's about learning, evolving, and growing together. When you step into conflict with the mindset of growth, you'll find that it transforms you, your communication, and your relationships. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, and like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. Rejection can feel like a punch to the gut, but instead of letting it knock you down, think of rejection as an opportunity to build resilience. Resilience is about how you bounce back from setbacks, how you maintain your confidence and focus even when things don't go your way. When you face rejection, don't take it personally. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? The more you practice resilience, the easier it becomes to handle rejection without letting it define you. One of the best ways to build resilience is by changing the way you respond. Rejection doesn't mean you failed, it means you've tried. And trying is the first step towards success. Stay focused on your goals. Stay committed to your growth. And every time you face rejection, ask yourself, what's next? Remember, resilience is a muscle. The more you face rejection and keep moving forward, the stronger you'll get. The more you embrace conflict and grow from it, the more you'll thrive. This is how you turn fear into power. Fear of rejection and conflict doesn't have to control your life. It's time to embrace these challenges as stepping stones, not roadblocks. Rejection is simply a redirection, a sign that you're one step closer to the right opportunity. Conflict is a tool for growth, a way to build stronger relationships and better communication. And resilience is the key to bouncing back stronger every time you face a setback. Let me tell you something. The most successful people didn't get there by avoiding rejection or conflict. They got there by facing those fears head-on and using them to grow. You have the same power within you. It's time to stop shrinking back and start stepping forward. Rejection and conflict aren't the enemy. They're the building blocks of your success. Embrace them, learn from them, and watch how they push you toward the life you've always wanted. So are you ready to stop letting fear control you? It's time to break through the barriers of rejection and conflict. It's time to move forward with confidence, courage, and resilience. The best version of you is waiting on the other side. Let's go. Are you tired of playing small, shrinking back to avoid rocking the boat or disappointing others? It's time to step into your full power and visibility. You've spent enough time trying to fit into boxes that weren't made for you. Today we're leaving behind the fear of rejection, the insecurity of pleasing everyone, and the need to hide who you truly are. What if the key to unlocking your potential has always been to simply be yourself, loudly and proudly? By embracing authenticity, asserting your needs, and refusing to shrink in the face of discomfort, you can become the bold, unapologetic person you were always meant to be. This is about more than just showing up. It's about claiming your right to be seen and heard. You don't need to be anyone else to succeed. You are enough as you are, and when you step fully into your power, nothing can stop you. Stick with me, because what you'll discover here is how to stop blending in and start standing out. The world needs your true self. Let's begin that journey right now. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to stop blending in. You are meant to stand out. So stand up, speak up, and never apologize for being who you are. Listen closely. Your true power isn't hidden behind a mask or in the shadows. It's right there waiting for you to claim it. Every time you shrink back, every time you tell yourself you're too nice to assert yourself, you're pushing away the version of you that the world truly needs. You've convinced yourself that being nice means being quiet, being small, blending in. But let me tell you something. Being nice is just an excuse to avoid being true to yourself. No more hiding. It's time to stop blending in. It's time to stop apologizing for who you are. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. The world needs you, your full, unapologetic, messy, real self. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. Your presence matters. So stop making excuses. Step up, speak out, and embrace the person you've been running from for far too long. You don't need permission. You have the power to own your space right now. So do it. Claim your visibility and power. If you wait for the perfect moment, it will never come. The perfect moment is now. Don't hesitate. Don't shrink. Take that first step into the life that's waiting for you. You are capable of greatness, but you have to show up for it. So I'm telling you today, step into your true power. Imagine a life where you no longer apologize for who you are, where you're confident in your worth, and where every action you take is driven by your authentic self. Picture yourself walking into rooms, not shrinking back but taking up space. See yourself speaking up when something doesn't feel right, asserting your needs without hesitation, and boldly pursuing what you want in life. Your relationships will be stronger because they'll be based on honesty and mutual respect, not the fear of rejection. Your success will soar because you'll be aligned with who you truly are. And that's when the world takes notice. When you start living unapologetically, you free yourself from the weight of pretending to be someone you're not. You stop wasting time, energy, and emotion on things that don't serve you. You begin to attract the right opportunities, the right people, and the right situations. Why? Because you're finally vibrating at the frequency of your true self. That is power. That is confidence. That is a life that others can't help but notice. The world needs you, your true unapologetic self. Let's go, make some noise. The life you've been dreaming of, it's already within reach, just waiting for you to step into it. So what are you waiting for? It's time to show the world who you really are. Let's go.